All right, minor delay there.
Still on the earth.
So now, ascending the central mound, the royal seat, and the housing of the white granite obelisk, which you can see before me. And as I said before, this white granite obelisk is the highest point of elevation of anything in the surrounding landscape.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the land of Chem. I'm your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. Now, today I am thrilled to finally publicly release the footage from our 2023 expedition to the most powerful ancient site in Ireland, the seat of the High Kings, revealed through the Stone of Destiny, the Hill of Tara. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's intro, so without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. Now, to begin, this is an image of the sunset above the Stone of Destiny, perfectly emblematic of our entire day exploring this site. Pure magic. One of the most spectacular and mesmerizing views that I have seen in my entire life. And make sure you watch through the end of the video so you don't miss out on experiencing this breathtaking moment for yourself. And by the time you are watching this, we are already on our first 2025 Land of Chem research expedition to an exotic destination that I never anticipated I would get a chance to explore. Let's see if anyone can guess where we are in the comment section below. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I hope you enjoy Sunday Site Visit 107 from the Hill of Tara. All right, everyone, welcome back. And it is with the greatest pleasure that I can finally bring you to a site that I've been waiting my entire life to visit. It is the first on this expedition to Ireland that I have not previously explored. So let's get right to it. Here we are at the Hill of Tara. And this is a site that will require an extensive research-based episode coming up soon. But I wanted to give you a preliminary explanation of the configuration of the site and some of the details that you will see today. So you will see it's a massive complex of stone and earthwork enclosures. See the earthwork enclosures here, very reminiscent to what we saw at the Figsbury Ring in England. Another earthwork enclosure here, and you can see a causeway leading into the primary structure here. We're also going to be visiting the Holy Well, which is located here. And for those of you that have been following on the members only channel, one detail of particular interest that I will be showing today is the stone obelisk located at the center of the structure. And this stone is made of white granite, an absolutely spectacular feature. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go. All right, here we go. I'm super excited. And I'm not 100% sure what to expect in terms of the location of what we are searching for. There are several pathways
that lead across this absolutely immense area. But I'll know it when we find it. Of course, the primary objective for today's investigation is to find the, well, I can see I can see it there in the distance. Oh man, I'm really hoping we can get up close to this thing. And there's a pretty significant energy shift that I just felt as we crossed into the threshold of the site. So now I'll give it to you from the first person perspective. And this is it. So we are now crossing the exterior perimeter of the earthwork surrounding the structure, which is this ridge that you can see here going around the outside of the site. Mound structure here. And we're going to take some time and explore the site in detail after we've reached the primary objective. And you can probably already see it. Lex has got a pretty big smile on her face. We're both incredibly excited and grateful to have the opportunity to come out here today. Okay. So here, and you can see another concentric series of earthwork enclosures. There's an earthwork circle here. I'm standing on top of a secondary ridge here in the dip here surrounding the primary monument, which is referred to as the royal seat. And you can see here there's the secondary concentric earthwork enclosure. So there's a center circular basin here surrounded by this depression. There's another circular earthwork enclosure here connecting into this one, which is where we're currently standing on the rim here. The depression surrounding the central mound. And so now we will begin to ascend the central mound of the hill of Tara. And this is it. And as always, with these monuments, you can see that we are at the highest point of elevation in the surrounding landscape. It's always the same. There is nothing in the vicinity that is on higher elevation than this point here. And this stone, this white granite pillar, being the highest point of elevation. And those of you who are subscribed to the members only channel already know what this stone was for in relation to the function of these sites. And you can see all of the crystalline quartz in this white granite stone. So now we're going to do what we always do at these ancient sites, and we'll be back here in just a moment. All right, now that we have connected directly to what I truly feel to believe the most powerful energetic site that we have visited thus far on this wild adventure to explore these ancient sites, I'll give you some vantage and perspective from here at the top of the mound. So again, the white granite obelisk, and here is the exterior perimeter of the earthwork enclosure. And then we have two concentric rings here and here, surrounding the central mound upon which we are currently standing. Again, this area of the structure known within the mythology of the site as the royal seat. And this esoteric symbolic nomenclature by which they've chosen to describe this area of the site, of course, contains profound information regarding the function of this structure. And we will now proceed into the secondary earthwork enclosure here, crossing through the threshold of the exterior perimeter concentric circle, through the valley, and we'll take a pathway that's already been walked. Well, that's a pretty interesting sensation. I don't know whether it was just the the wind and the rain just completely stopped.
Oh, right here.
But yeah, you feel that?
Like it was a vacuum or something.
Yeah, so she just said it feels like a vacuum in here. Again, it's exactly what we feel. This area referred to as Cormac's house. The exact sensation as what is felt crossing the threshold of the temple of Ptah at Abu Sir, the site that I showed that contains the dual layer containers, the red granite and white limestone containers. Also an incredibly profound energetic site in terms of the physiological sensation you get when you're within the threshold of the structure. And of course, inside of there we have those 20 limestone pillars strategically placed around the center of the structure, very reminiscent to what we have here at the stone circles of England and Ireland, specifically kind of reminding me of Stonehenge. So you can see here the exterior perimeter and the interior. It's almost like a basin here inside this mound. So now we're going to walk across the site over to this mound structure here. This is a huge area, and there's more of this perimeter. The exterior perimeter of the site is huge. The entire footprint of this structure is massive. And we have a lot more to explore on today's adventure, including the holy well. Of course, wells and water being connected to all of these ancient structures, which should come as no surprise at this point. And I don't know, man, this is probably my favorite site thus far. I thought that Avebury, so the experience of exploring Avebury was completely overwhelming. It was just such a profound physiological sensation being around those stones and within the circle itself. You can see, great God Almighty Creator has blessed us with some sunlight.
Thank you.
And we were getting absolutely drenched, as you saw in the footage as we explored Avebury, which I think makes the entire site expedition much more exciting for you guys to watch and for us to experience. But I think this site's probably my favorite so far. What do you think?
I think it's very impressive, the energy shifts you feel once you cross over the rings.
So here we have another passage chamber, very similar to what we saw. Oh man, look at that, there's a coffee cup in there. Oh, human beings. Again, this passage chamber being very reminiscent of what we saw at Stonehenge within the West Kennet Long Barrow. and also at low crew. All right, so now we're going to take a chance, walk around the site a bit more, and we'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. All right, so now we are approaching the area that I would refer to as the causeway system leading toward the main structure. And you can see here one side of the causeway so an earthwork causeway here and here leading toward the central concentric circle and mound structure. You can see better here, we're standing on top of one of these earthwork ridges here, the depression and the other side of the causeway leading directly toward the central mound here in the distance. All right, ladies and gentlemen, continuing our expedition of the areas surrounding the hill of Tara, and I don't know if you can see that there in the distance, but yet another rainbow has appeared across our magical expedition across Ireland. We've seen these at pretty much every site we visited. The rainbows have been following us. We saw one yesterday that was a dual rainbow, and you could literally see both ends of the rainbow. It was really pretty spectacular. It looks like it's landing in the end of that field over there. A pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The lucky charms. All right, so now we're going to investigate a site adjacent to the Hill of Tara that is known as the Holy Well. Again, as I mentioned before, subterranean water, springs being connected directly to all of these ancient sites. And I can already tell you this is beautiful. The sun just came out. It's been fluctuating between absolutely pouring. You can see there's running water. Anyway, fluctuating between absolutely pouring and spectacular sunshine. So as you can see here, the well at Tara, this is one of 6 wells listed in the ancient documents. And as you can see here, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that. The Caprac of Cormac is eastward from the Wrath of Kings. It is the well of the numbering of the clans. Dark Eye, the healer, the well of the white cow. Again, As we've seen at pretty much every site we visited, it is prolific with this esoteric, alchemical, symbolical language encoding profound information about what these sites were really for. Man, it is absolutely serene out here right now. And this is just a little subterranean well, a spring tapping into underground water. All right, so now that the sun has come out, we're going to do one more proper walkthrough of the site. So we will take a walk up here, have a look at the quote-unquote sloping trenches here. We'll then return, walk up the causeway to investigate the mound of hostages, the passage chamber mound that I just showed, the exterior perimeter, and interior concentric circles. Let's go. And we're here now at the end of the earthwork causeway system, which there's a ridge leading up this way and a parallel ridge running in this direction. So just as we have with the Egyptian pyramids, the causeways running from the Nile River up toward the structure, we have the exact same thing here with this avenue as it is described with the stone conduit system at the West Kennet Avenue. And there's a huge depression here at the end of this causeway. And you can see better here the ridge, the earthwork ridge, and its parallel copy on the other side, and kind of this large basin area down here. And I will say now that I'm really glad that we did this, because this site is so much bigger and more significant than, well, again, I didn't really know what to anticipate when I came out to this site, but man, this is amazing. And here's another one. This concentric circle structures here. And I am very grateful that we were given this second opportunity to pass through the site, because we had to take a break. It started absolutely pouring. And thus far on this expedition across England and Ireland, the biggest priority has been, other than experiencing the sites, the biggest priority has been the safety of the gear and equipment, to ensure that this footage and documentation of these sites wasn't lost. And we've certainly been testing the capabilities of the GoPro's water and weatherproofing on this expedition. All right, this is another structure. Circular rim surrounding the perimeter here, and central mound. And again, that perimeter around here. And it also appears that there's kind of a slight depression here in the top of the mound. All right, so I was just standing right here in the center of this mound and surrounded by the exterior perimeter. And now we are going to proceed. So this here is the perimeter wall that surrounds this entire structure. So we'll call all of the mounds and concentric circle enclosures out here, we'll call this one structure. And we're going to cross over and I'm taking my time here because, as always, we like to get barefoot. So here's the next one. A bit of a mess getting over here. And we're going to walk up here. Onto this ridge. This one appears to be pretty severely deteriorated. Wow. Look at that. Man, I'm really glad we took a second walk. Yeah.
It feels great. Look at that view.
So here, it's another little mound. And there's another concentric circle here. And these concentric circle structures adjacent to the larger structure itself. Ooh. Now my feet just started tingling when I stepped on top of this mound. Look at that view. Holy shit. All right, so we had to just take a moment to be in the moment and look at probably one of the most spectacular views that I've possibly ever seen in my entire life. I mean, the countryside just goes for as far as you can see in the distance to the horizon. It just keeps on going. And the clouds and the sun, it's like a painting. Pretty surreal. The glory of God's creation. Pretty spectacular. So, we're going to continue exploring the rest of the structure, most likely until the sun sets or somebody comes and kicks us out of here. And walk around barefoot, most likely through this entire structure, just connecting with every part of it. So now we're going to proceed around the exterior perimeter enclosure and head back toward the central mound, upon which is seated the white granite obelisk. So we're standing on the exterior perimeter enclosure. And now we're just going to cross the field toward the main structure. And it's quite a long walk, so I won't bore you to death. But we'll resume in just a moment.
All right, everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video, and if you are interested in the ancient technology of a lost civilization utilizing physics and chemistry and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, please remember to subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube so you don't miss out on the new episodes that premiere twice per week. If you want to help support the channel, check out thelandofchem.com. You can pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, link in the video description below. And if you want to get access to exclusive research videos, check out the Land of Chem members only channel, now up to 22 absolutely massive research episodes that also feature some unreleased expedition footage. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. Now, back to the video.
All right. Man, this is one of those sights and days where you just don't want it to end. And hopefully we'll be able to stay out here as close to sunset as possible. Wouldn't that be awesome? So now, oh, watch out. And we've walked across this entire site barefoot, and I did the same. I walked all the way down West Kennet Avenue in between the parallel sides of the stone conduit system barefoot, and we've done this at pretty much every site that we visited. So now we will be crossing another threshold over the exterior perimeter of the earthwork enclosure surrounding the primary structure. So you can see here this earthwork enclosure that loops all the way around the outside of the site. This is the mound of the hostages, and the two central earthwork enclosures in the middle. And at this point, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone that has supported my work, supported this channel, and supported me in whatever quest it is that I am on. I really appreciate it. And I'll just show you the view behind me. Not too shabby. Very grateful to have this experience. And more specifically, grateful to have the opportunity to share it with you. So, concentric circles. Here. Surrounding the central mound. And there's an adjacent one over here. And the hill of Tara is surrounded by mythology of the inauguration of kingship. And I was discussing with Alexa off camera how I believe some of that esoteric mythology contains pretty profound information about how these structures operated. So we're going to do this one first. This is the adjacent concentric ring structure. Again, the concentric rings going around here. And this is very similar to kind of the configuration of the stones that we saw in the center of the Avebury stone ring, where it has kind of two groups of circles. And she said it looks like cells undergoing mitosis, where these one cell is splitting into two cells. And it certainly does appear that way. And that is beautiful. I hope the camera is able to capture that view. That is really something special. And now we're going to walk over to the royal seat and get some additional footage of the white granite obelisk. Kind of had a feeling it was only a matter of time. All right, minor delay there. So now, ascending the central mound, the royal seat, and the housing of the white granite obelisk, which you can see before me. And as I said before, this white granite obelisk is the highest point of elevation of anything in the surrounding landscape. And you can see the 360 panorama around us. Nothing higher than this central point. And this is critical to understand when unraveling the function of these structures. And if you're interested in a preview of exactly how all of these operate, go check out the members only channel. Episode 3, presenting the footage from the Carrowkeel obelisk. And here it is. And I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but standing here, all of those, there we go, those microscopic flecks of quartz crystal just glimmering in the setting sunlight. This is an absolutely beautiful piece of stone, and quite unlike anything that we have seen thus far. And there it is, the money shot. Look at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I will conclude an absolutely spectacular day exploring. Man, I just got caught by that view. Exploring the hill of Tara.
All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 107 from the most powerful ancient site in Ireland, the Hill of Tara. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and in the next episode in the series, exclusive footage from our first 2025 Land of Chem Research Expedition. Where have we been? Leave your guesses in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube if you're interested in the technology of a lost civilization, utilizing physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world. Please like, comment, share, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel and get access to exclusive research, check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com. If you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, links in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram or on X, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, after you finish watching this video, please go subscribe to our 3 other channels: Ancient Odysseys, Let's Go with Lex and G, and the best channel on YouTube, Egyptian Trash Cats, for all you cat lovers out there. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that's it for today's episode, so I will see you next time. Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.